Saudi Arabia is gambling its entire future on one project. $500 billion, already ballooning toward $8 trillion. If it fails, the world's richest oil kingdom could run out of cash before it runs out of sand. Neom, the line, isn't just a sci-fi city of mirrors. It's a financial black hole 170 kilometers long. Oil money is being sold off, deficits are widening, and Wall Street is stepping back. Behind the glossy renders lie forced evictions, stalled construction, and a burn rate that could sink the very country that invented OPEC, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. So how did one mega project push Saudi Arabia to the brink of bankruptcy? And can 31-year-old Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman pull the kingdom back, or will he drive it to ruin? This is the story of Neom, the line between ambition and delusion. Welcome to The Real Central. I'm your host, Josh Gultom, and this is the place where we dive into the most unique and unexpected stories from all around the world. If it's strange, surprising, or just downward fascinating, we're talking about it here. We are a new channel, so please subscribe to our channel and comment anything down below to push our channel higher. Thank you so much, guys. Let's continue to the video.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I participate in
The Great Pyramid is arguably the most enigmatic structure on the face of the earth.
Neom is not just a city, it's a symbol, a message from Saudi Arabia to the world. And behind that symbol stands one man, Mohammed bin Salman, known simply as MBS. At just 31 years old, he became Crown Prince. And almost overnight, he launched a bold, aggressive plan to transform his country. He called it Vision 2030, a complete reimagining of Saudi Arabia's economy, society, and global image. For decades, Saudi Arabia's wealth came from one thing: oil. Black gold beneath the sand. But MBS knew that wouldn't last forever. He saw how countries like the UAE and Qatar were racing ahead, building global brands, investing in tourism, tech, sports, and diplomacy. And he felt Saudi Arabia, the largest and richest of them all, was falling behind. Vision 2030 was his answer, and Neom was its most ambitious creation. Neom would not just be a new city, it would be a new country within a country, with its own laws, economy, and borders. A future paradise where robots do the hard work, AI runs the systems, and humans enjoy the perfect climate indoors. MBS described it as a place with floating ports, flying taxis, cloud seating, vertical farms, and even a fake moon. Everything would be renewable. Everything would be clean. The world's smartest people would live there, create there, invest there. It would be a utopia, built in the desert, from scratch. And he made it personal. Neom became his project, his dream, his legacy. Every major announcement came from him. Every design, every slogan, every speech, all linked directly to the Crown Prince. He didn't just fund Neom, he branded himself as its visionary, the driver, the one who would lead Saudi Arabia into the future. But inside Neom, things started to fall apart. Behind the futuristic graphics and PR campaigns was a very different reality. Foreign advisors, hired from top global companies, began to leave. Some said the culture was toxic, others said the deadlines were insane. One consultant described the work environment as full of unrealistic demands, broken timelines, and fear. Many top Western executives quit quietly, not wanting to be associated with what they saw behind the scenes. At the center of the storm was CEO Nadmi Al-Nasser. Reports from former staff described him as hostile, unpredictable, and dismissive of foreign workers. Some said he mocked their concerns, pushed impossible goals, and ran the company like a military unit, not a startup. Even Andy Worth, a well-known American resort developer hired to lead Neom's ski project, walked away after raising questions about the forced evictions of tribal families. He said the culture inside Neom reeked of something terrible. Despite all this, MBS never stepped back. The bigger the problems got, the harder he pushed. For him, Neom wasn't just an economic project. It was proof that Saudi Arabia could lead the future, proof that he could reshape the country in his own image. Neom became his legacy project, and walking away was never an option. Because in the mind of MBS, the future of Saudi Arabia and his place in history now runs in a straight line, 170 kilometers long, made of glass and ambition.
على مدى العصور والحضارات كانت تبنى المدن لحماية الإنسان بمساحات ضيقة، وبعد الثورة الصناعية بسبب ارتفاع انبعاثات الكربون وارتفاع منسوب مياه البحار.
Building the future isn't cheap. Officially, Neom is expected to cost $500 billion, more than half of Saudi Arabia's annual budget. But leaked reports say the real cost could be much higher. One audit says it may take up to $8.8 trillion to finish over 50 years. That's more than the size of Saudi Arabia's entire economy. So where does the money come from? Almost all of it comes from the Public Investment Fund, or PIF. That's the Saudi government's giant wallet, filled with oil money. To keep Neom alive, the kingdom has sold parts of Aramco, the national oil company, and taken on more debt. In 2024, they sold over $11 billion in shares just to refill the fund. But oil prices go up and down, and when prices drop, everything slows. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has had to cut production, which means less income. In 2023, the country ran a $21 billion deficit, money spent without enough coming in. At the same time, foreign investment has fallen short. Saudi Arabia hoped outside companies would bring in $100 billion a year. The real number? Less than $35 billion. Many investors are nervous. Some don't trust the long-term vision. Others are uncomfortable with the kingdom's human rights record. Still, the spending continues and the risk grows. Right now, Neom is built with borrowed money, oil profits, and big promises. But if oil prices drop too far, or if investors lose confidence, the kingdom might be forced to cut back. And when a dream this big starts shrinking, it shows. From the beginning, the line was described as a miracle, a city like nothing the world had ever seen. Two massive mirror walls, each 500 meters high, stretching for 170 kilometers across Saudi Arabia's northwest desert. Between them, a slim futuristic zone of layered life. High-speed trains running beneath, parks and walkways above, homes and offices built vertically, all powered by 100% renewable energy. A city with zero cars, zero emissions, zero sprawl. It was designed to hold 9 million people in just 13 square kilometers of land, smaller than most airport zones. The marketing was flawless. Animations showed drones in the sky, smart homes adjusting to your mood, and residents moving from work to nature to leisure in minutes. It felt like science fiction brought to life. But now, just a few years later, the reality looks very different. Independent satellite images, reviewed by journalists and engineers, show no towers, no trains, no mirrored walls. What they do show is a small desert compound, mostly used by construction staff, some modular housing units, a helipad, a golf course, a few service roads. In many areas, even the groundwork for the line hasn't started. One former project advisor told Engineering and Technology that the site today is nothing more than a giant marketing zone with a handful of luxury outposts. The only real opening so far was Sindalah Island, a luxury tourism hub meant to welcome the world by 2021. But it opened 3 years late, and reports say it was already 3 times over budget. Even then, the resort was unfinished. Many of the promised marinas, spas, and futuristic features were either under construction or cancelled altogether. Critics say Sindalah serves the elite, not the Saudi people, and certainly not the 9 million citizens the line was meant to house. Then came the biggest shock. In 2024, leaked internal documents revealed that Neom's team had quietly scaled back its main target. Instead of 170 kilometers by 2030, the new goal is just 2.4 kilometers. A single stretch meant to host around 300,000 people. That's less than 2% of the original vision. Not a city, not even a real district, just a pilot zone to show something exists. The reason? Cost, engineering, and time. According to insiders, the technical challenges of the line are far greater than what the public was told. Building two 500-meter-high walls for 170 kilometers is something no country has ever attempted. Experts warn of wind tunnel effects, massive heating issues from the mirrored glass, and threats to wildlife. Migrating birds could crash by the thousands. Desert winds could be redirected in dangerous ways. And worst of all, the carbon cost. One university study estimates that building the line, with its concrete, steel, and excavation, would release around 1.8 billion tons of CO2. That's more than the total emissions of the UK over 4 years. Even if the city runs on solar power later, the damage from construction alone would take decades to undo. In short, it's not carbon-free, it's carbon front-loaded. Architects have started speaking out. Peter Cook, a respected designer who was part of Neom's early planning, now calls the project an amazing absurdity. He doubts it will ever be built beyond a small piece, maybe 50 meters tall. Other insiders say the original vision was never technically possible, and they believe many of the internal projections were based on fantasy numbers written to secure funding. Still, the animation kept coming, sleek, colorful videos, hypnotic music, promises of progress. But behind the visuals is a more uncomfortable truth. The line is not a city. It's not even close. It's a concept under pressure, a marketing symbol wrapped in concrete delays. And every year that passes without a real progress, the dream looks smaller. The line was meant to represent the future, but right now, it's struggling to exist in the present. The Saudi government says Neom is being built on empty land. But that's not true. For generations, the desert plan for the line was home to the Hawitat, a Bedouin tribe with deep roots in the region. They raised families, cared for their animals, and lived simple lives. But when Neom began, they were told to leave. In 2020, the Saudi state launched a forced eviction campaign. Homes were destroyed, people were threatened. One man, Abdul Rahim al-Huwaidi, refused to move. He posted videos online saying he wouldn't give up his land. Days later, he was executed by Saudi security forces. The government claimed he was armed, but his family and human rights groups say he was targeted for speaking out. After his demise, dozens more were arrested. Some were charged under anti-terror laws. 3 were sentenced to demise. Many others got decades in prison. Even people who posted photos of funerals or protests were jailed. Behind the glass and steel, Neom has a human cost. Foreign executives have quit after seeing it firsthand. One former Neom manager said the way his team talked about the tribe made him feel sick. Another CEO, who walked away from a major contract, said it simply: "You don't build a future by stepping on people's necks." But that's exactly what seems to be happening. Saudi officials call Neom a gift to the world. But for the people who lived there first, it became a nightmare. One that's still unfolding, far from the cameras, in the shadows of a mega city that may never be built. Neom is branded as a green city of the future. The line is marketed as zero carbon, sustainable, clean. Saudi Arabia has even pledged to reach net zero emissions by 2060. On paper, it sounds like a revolution in climate leadership. But here's the problem. Saudi Arabia is still one of the largest oil exporters in the world, And not only are they still pumping oil, they're planning to increase production in the coming years. So how does a country that lives off fossil fuels build a carbon-free city? Experts say it doesn't add up. The materials alone, steel, concrete, glass, have a massive carbon cost. One environmental study warned that the emissions from construction could overwhelm any future gains. Some reports even claim Neom is already using 1/5 of the world's available steel. Even the green features come with a cost. To supply water, Neom needs giant desalination plants, which produce salty waste that can damage coral and sea life in the Red Sea. Wind turbines and mirror walls may look futuristic, but they also dangerous to birds. And the line cuts straight through a major bird migration route. Desert animals disrupted, plants uprooted, climate impact massive. And socially, Neom isn't built for everyone. So far, it's mostly luxury resorts, private marinas, and ski slopes. The video shows robot assistants and futuristic trains, but for many Saudis, it just looks like a playground for the rich. Some locals call it a rich man's toy, built by oil money, dressed in green and sold as something new. In short, Neom's image as an eco-utopia may be just that, an image.
Take one.
The population gonna jump in Saudi Arabia from today 33 million in 2030, something between 50 to 55 million. So in 2030, we're gonna reach the full capacity of the existing infrastructure of Saudi Arabia. That's raised.
Neom is more than a mega city. It's a mirror, one that reflects the ambition of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and the future he's trying to build for Saudi Arabia. For MBS, this project is not just economic. It's not even just about modernizing his country. It's about rebranding his rule, rewriting the story of Saudi Arabia on his terms. If Neom succeeds, it becomes a symbol of transformation, from desert kingdom to global tech leader, a place where robots, tourists, and investors walk side by side, a futuristic stage where MBS stands at the center, not as a crown prince from a traditional monarchy, but as a visionary of the new Middle East. But behind the glossy videos and big promises is a high-stakes political gamble. This is not a normal construction project. This is a leader tying his entire legacy to something that may never be finished. That's why Neom is so risky. It's not just about money. It's about power, legitimacy, and international influence. And already, cracks are forming in all three. Meanwhile, other Gulf states are watching, especially the UAE and Qatar. These countries have already positioned themselves as global hubs for business, tourism, and diplomacy. If Neom works, Saudi Arabia could leap ahead. But if it fails, the kingdom risks looking desperate, not visionary. Even Iran, Saudi's regional rival, has mocked the project. Its supreme leader said MBS's inexperience would bring about Saudi Arabia's downfall. The stakes go far beyond architecture. They touch on the balance of power in the Middle East. In the end, Neom isn't just a line in the sand. It's a line between what's real and what's imagined. It's a test of how far a leader can push an idea and how long a nation can support it. If it works, MBS becomes the new face of a new Saudi Arabia. If it doesn't, the world will remember Neom not as a city of the future, but as the coastline dream that never came true. If you like this video and want to see more deep dives into more unique content, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more coming sooner or later. I'm your host, Josh Wiltom. Thank you so much guys for watching. Goodbye.